Awesome. Okay. I'm just going to call on people to start with the check-ins. Laura, will you start?
I will. Hi.
Hi.
I so I let myself slide last Friday night. Like I planned in pizza. I like had it entered and everything, and then when the pizza was actually in front of me, I was just like rah, and ate way more than just the two pieces that I had said that I would eat. Um, and then even though I posted about that, like in our Nourish thing, and I was like, I'm back on track. Like I was back on track for like half the day. And then that's something that I kind of like continually do is if I make a mistake, then I have a really hard time like just letting it be a one-time mistake. So kind of the whole weekend was a wash, unfortunately. So I, even though like I did a high carb day, I also did like a high fat day too. So I don't know that it's necessarily that that I'm counting it, I guess. Um, but I did use Sunday to do some like cooking to get ahead for the week. So I made a soup for the lunches. Um, and then I I don't know. I feel like I still am struggling with fat for the day, for each day. And I get like 65 grams of fat. Like I feel like that's a lot. And I'll be like, okay, like this is fine. And then, just do like one egg with egg whites and cheese in the morning. And then like whatever I add for lunch. And then it's like all the things that taste good are fat. So like avocado and cheese and so I have a hard time being like, no, if you're going to have avocado today, like just have this much and then save the rest for the next meal. So I have a really really and yes, any kind of oil or salad dressing, that is my really big downfall right now.
Yeah.
So like last week my average I think was like 90 grams or something. I mean, it was ridiculous compared to, it's only supposed to be 66 for the day. So,
Yeah. The fat adds up really fast. Are other people having that issue too? Yeah. So a couple things, and Laura, I'll specifically look at your MyFitnessPal and see like what very specific recommendations I can give you when I do your check-in tomorrow.
you're going
But
to say stop eating pizza, Laura, because apparently you have no self-control.
so with the pizza, what I highly recommend is make yourself a BAS, a big ass salad with chicken, so you get lots of fiber and protein. Put the pizza right next to it so you see it, you know what's coming. Eat that giant ass salad first and try to fill up on it. So you're almost like, okay, I'm already like done eating my dinner and now I get to have this pizza for like dessert. I mean, pizza's super addictive. It's fatty, it's salty, it's carby, like it's the world's greatest food. So it's super addictive. But if you can kind of like fill up first and then also, tell yourself like what you did was perfect, like saying I'm going to have this number of pieces and like planning that out, that can really help too. But if you're hungry or if you're in the just like F it mindset, it's super easy to go. The other thing is like try to get just enough pizza. So like there's not any left over,
Yeah. Well, and I thought I was like doing myself a favor because Friday nights are busy. Like I don't get home until later for my kids. So it's like, oh, I'm doing myself a favor by getting pizza. So I'm not like, anyway, I don't know what is, I'm just going to have to rethink that because it's good, but apparently I don't have self-control yet.
Yeah. And I mean, systems are always going to be better than willpower or motivation or self-control. I mean, especially with food like that that's designed to make you want to eat more and more and more of it. So, even if like, and no one else is having a salad, but you can fill up on something like that first with lots of fiber and protein and have the pizza so you don't feel like you're missing out.
Mhm.
That's what I usually do. I mean, and then the fat is hard. So what I do is just like I kind of told you guys, like divide it up evenly. So you're having 4 meals and you get 60 grams of fat. Each one should be around 15 grams, which can go pretty quickly. Um, and then generally kind of pick like one fat per meal. And like I used to eat these giant salads all the time, and this is like pre-tracking macros, but I'd be like cheese and nuts and dressing. Like this salad is so good. Right. But like really one of those is enough probably for your fat for that meal, whether it's dressing or cheese or nuts or avocado. And so if you can think of just like picking one, and then, same thing if you're having a fattier cut of meat, then maybe, roasted veggies with nonstick spray instead of a different side that's higher in fat. But just sort of making those like balancing choices, like here's my fat that I'm having. Like if I'm cooking it in olive oil, I already know that's like 2 or 3 tablespoons of oil is enough for dinner. And then subbing out, like instead of olive oil, like can you cook it with nonstick spray? Instead of regular cheese, can you do reduced fat cheese? Like you said, like the 1 egg plus the egg whites instead of like 2 or 3 eggs. Those kind of switches, they're small, but they add up pretty quickly. I mean, the benefits of them adds up pretty quickly.
Okay. That is one thing that I have not done, like with the kind of shredded cheese that we have. So that would probably be the number one thing that I can do to change this week.
Yeah, shredded cheese is, I don't know. I feel like you don't get that much. I like the slices better because, I like to eat a lot. So I'm like, the slice of cheese feels like a lot more. Trader Joe's is the best reduced fat cheese. It's like 8 grams of protein and like 4 grams of fat, but the stuff at Target is pretty good too. And then the other thing is kind of just like looking for condiments that are going to add flavor without the fat, like sriracha or mustard, just actual like cilantro or green onions or stuff like that. That's going to add a lot of flavor without fat versus like a full fat mayo or, full fat ranch dressing. And the other thing is switching to light mayo, light ranch, light stuff like that for like the creamier stuff. Or subbing Greek yogurt is always a good option too. It's a pretty good option depending how dedicated you are to mayo. I'm a dedicated mayo girl. But I like the light stuff, so that makes a huge difference. And then getting back on track, I feel like that's tough because that's really just like all about your mindset. And but you need to, and this happens to everyone. Like everyone gets off track. And the sooner you can get back on, the better you're going to feel. And the more you're going to build up that confidence that you can do this. And knowing that like one meal going off the rails is not like ruining your diet or your health goals. It's not. So there's no need to feel bad about it or feel guilty. And I think that's when a lot of us go like, we're like, oh, this weekend's lost anyway. Right. Like, but it's really not. Like one meal is not going to do that. Even a whole day. Yeah, you can do it. Okay. Awesome. Anything else? Oh, you had a question about the Steps app. Sorry about your
Yeah.
I watched
I dropped my Apple Watch. It was really sad.
That's
So
really sad. That is really sad. So there's a built-in app that comes pre-programmed on your phone. It's called Health, and it's white with a heart. So that should just be tracking everything every day. If you want a whole separate one, I also used to use the Steps app before I got a Fitbit, and that one it just does your steps, and it's really nice too.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
Okay. Awesome. Thank you for that. Ambria, how about you?
I would echo what Laura said. For me, it was the fat. That's hard. But I think at least I can identify, I know where it's coming from.
Probably not the oat milk though, right?
It's not the oat milk.
Okay.
It's my cheese and my I love, like, I'm enjoying the salads, but the supper club in northern Wisconsin where I grew up, and I buy their homemade salad dressing, and the closest I can equate it to is French, so that's kind of what I'm guessing.
Mm-hmm.
Forward to it every day. Like, I would drink the salad dressing, I think, if I could.
Mm-hmm.
So I look forward to the salad for it, but so probably need to take your advice and cut out the cheese if I'm going to do the dressing. I loved high carb day. We do a family night pizza and a morning donut. So I combine those into one day so I could plan accordingly. I mean, I went way off the charts and ate till I was ill. And in the back of my head, I could hear you, Annie, going, flush it out with water, flush it out with water. So, at 8 o'clock at night, I started. But it was wonderful. It was like, I probably am going to have to give up one or the other, or I don't know if anyone is in the western suburbs, but El Mar's Pizza, it's New York style, right? Pizzas, they're not,
It's real good. I feel ya.
the pieces are ginormous. Like, one is probably the equivalent to, I don't know, I couldn't figure out the calorie, but I had to have two, and but it was wonderful.
That was good.
So
So
for my next high carb day.
yeah. So same thing, I said with Laura, this is always my pizza thing because we have pizza at least once a week at our house. And I always have a big salad first. And I put that pizza right on my plate. So I know it's coming. I'm just like, eat the salad first, stick with it, eat the protein first, like fill up on the good stuff. And then it's almost like dessert. And as we switch to a 5-2 day, maybe we could just split up the donut to Saturday, the pizza to Sunday, or vice versa. Okay, that's awesome. The fat going over, yeah. I think that's salads, are kind of deceiving until you start like measuring stuff and tracking your macros because you're like, oh, it's healthy, it's a salad. Oh, it's healthy, it's nuts. Oh, it's healthy, it's avocado. And then you're like, oh, I'm eating a 1,500 calorie salad. Great. So yeah, that kind of playing around with that stuff can just make a big difference, especially if you're just cutting a little bit out, 3 meals, it adds up. Okay, awesome. Anything else, Ambria?
No.
Okay, good. How's MyFitnessPal going for you? Are you still logging on your secret ninja way? Oh, you're muted.
Yeah, I have to go into the app store every time, but it's fine. I've gotten used to it, and it keeps me logged in. So I don't know I'm sure it's user error. So, but it's working fine.
Okay, good. Okay, BB, are you in a place where you can talk, or do you want me to go back to you later?
No, this is actually good because I'm in the mountains now, so I may lose you, and I may not.
Okay, good. So, why don't you go?
Yeah, I'm almost, well, I'm a couple hours out from where I'm gonna end up, so that's good. This week went pretty good, and I have a feeling everybody's pizza thing. Well, I have a question, Annie. So I ate, this is gonna sound really weird, but pretty much at least 5 or 6 nights a week for probably the last 2 or 3 years. All I have eaten for dinner before this started, was Amy's frozen spinach pizza. That was it. I know, it's weird.
I already knew that. So
right.
Yeah.
So I love Amy's frozen spinach pizza. Now they've got one that's a veggie crust, but it's not as good, of course, because it's veggie. But so on the high carb day, could I like backload those carbs and fat and just do less earlier to pull that off? Would that be acceptable?
You mean like earlier in the day?
Yeah.
Yeah, sure.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
You just made my day.
Yes.
Thank you.
You can do it any way you want. There is really like no magic. There's all these rules like intermittent fasting is the way to go, or don't eat carbs after 7, or, eat a whole bunch of small meals, or just eat one meal. Like there are all those like rules are not true. They're just like made up. It really does not matter how you eat. I mean, preferably you're having regular food so your body kind of gets used to that. But if you want to have like all those carbs later and have that pizza and kind of like it's really just your body's going to balance it out as long as you're not like stuffing yourself into oblivion. It probably wouldn't feel good and you probably wouldn't want to do it again. But even that, like, so Ambria said she ate the pizza and then felt like a teensy bit sick, but it was worth it. That's the third conversation I've had with clients this week where they're like, I was feeling so good. And then I went on vacation and ate all the things. And then I felt sick. And I was saying the silver lining to that is you realize, how did you probably used to eat? Probably used to eat like that all the time, right? So how did you probably feel? You probably used to feel like that all the time and you just didn't even realize it because it was the norm. And so you realize you're feeling so good now. And then you get that little tiny reminder, oh, this is how I used to feel. I prefer to feel better. So like, there's always a silver lining in even if you do end up eating 3 times as much as you planned or something like that. But yeah, in terms of like how you divide up your calories during the day, however works for you, totally fine.
Awesome.
Yeah.
I think the water is really helping me. So that's something that I'm really appreciative of, because that's something that I don't like water. I don't like drinking water. But I have been, and it's now I look forward to it. So that's been good. And I got that collagen protein.
Oh yeah.
That's sort of a game changer. As
Are you
far
putting it
as
in your coffee or your water?
coffee,
Mm-hmm.
putting it in my coffee, and then if I have cereal as a snack, then I put it in there too.
Perfect.
So I did a much better job this week on getting closer to the average protein. So I think overall, a better week.
Good. That's amazing. How long are you going to be in Oak Ridge?
Till Sunday midday, and then we start home. So I'm driving a motorboat down. The team is about 8 hours behind. They're gonna stay in Indy overnight.
Okay. Is it like is it a regatta or spring break?
Yep. No, we didn't get to have spring break this year.
Oh, okay.
So,
okay. When I heard Oak Ridge, I pictured all my spring breaks. You guys, I spent every spring break of college.
absolutely.
In Oak Ridge, Tennessee.
Well, and I'm just trying to drive and not think too much, because last year on this day, I had to stand up in front of the team and tell them we weren't going.
Mm-hmm.
So it was, this is better.
Yeah, this is much better. Well, good. I hope you guys row fast, kick booty, and have great weather.
Thank you.
And you're all prepped for road snacks driving down there, right? Sounds like.
Yep.
Okay.
And
awesome.
I have a plan for my meal. So I have a plan. So
That's great.
We'll see how that goes.
Okay. Amazing. Road snack. I love, for road snacks, if you have a cooler, you can get like higher protein stuff like yogurt, even just make some sandwiches or bring some like meat and bread so you can throw it together when you stop for gas or something like that. And someone else asked about just kind of munchies, and I feel like that's nice to have when you're driving too. I love frozen grapes. Have you guys had frozen grapes?
Oh,
that
sounds great.
Yes, they're amazing. They get kind of the consistency of popsicles. So I recommend taking them off the stem so you can just pop them in, but you can't eat them that fast because, think if you were trying to eat a popsicle, and they're so good. That sugar snap peas are my other kind of like munchy thing that is like almost no calories. And then Jolly Ranchers are our road trip snack because that hard candy will like last forever. And 3 Jolly Ranchers only has 70 calories.
And if you want to play like mind games, you can like try to suck it and like count how long it takes you. And then put another one in and see if you can beat your time.
There's a lot you can do.
This
with
sounds
calorie
like a game
measures.
you play with your kids to get them to be quiet. You're like, honey,
You know what?
how
I have
often-
never
how long
done
it
that
takes
with my
you?
kids, but that is genius. No, I just did that to like pass the time, but
I
very
feel like we have a new game to play.
The new game, even better than the quiet game. Okay, awesome. BB, that's so good. I love this check-in, love everything about it. Anything else? How did your workouts go? I saw you did a couple. Just keep on muting.
Yeah, they were pretty good. My back is challenging, so that's something that I've started back in, as well as trying to do my back exercises first and do those every day. And I'm not doing that yet, but so that's a little bit of my body is sort of paying me back for all the things I did to it for 45 or 50 years, which kind of sucks. But I think I'm feeling better about it. I brought my bands down here with me, so hopefully I'll get some stuff done down here too. But yeah, I think I honestly think that I'm over that you suck, nothing matters, why bother mentality. So I think that's a win.
That's a huge win. That's amazing. Awesome. Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you for that great update. We'll let you focus on driving. You can just listen in from here on.
Thank you.
Yeah. Michelle, how about you?
I had a fairly good week. I had 2 days where I went over 10,000 steps,
That's
which is
amazing.
probably the first time in summer. Yeah,
Wow. Yes.
that felt really good. And then I slept really well after that.
It's amazing how that works.
Right?
Mhm.
Yeah, it kind of felt good to exhaust myself a little bit more than I had been doing. Yeah. And especially Saturday, because we had a workout in the morning and I got a huge, huge walk in. So that felt good.
That's awesome.
And then the tracking is going fine. The high carb day went fine. Just kind of trucking along. I am not like I'm doing okay on water, better than I had been previous to this. But like I am not getting there. And I feel like when I go for that extra water, I'm just like, oh, this is torture. Like I just feel, I don't know. I feel like it's like there's no way I'm thirsty and I'm just ugh. So I don't know water thing.
Yeah. Is anyone else having that problem? Like where they're just like resistant? I think okay, some things that can help is like just figuring out how you like it. Like for me, I always have my Nalgene with me, but I always have ice in here and a straw, and then I will just like down it. But if I don't have that, like then I won't.
Yeah.
Another thing, you know, sometimes if I'm feeling fancy and have the energy, I'll make like spa water and put anything like lemons, limes, mint, fruit, citrus, you know, that kind of stuff in a pitcher of water and drink it, and it makes it different and nice and fancy. You can also count LaCroix if you're drinking that. Another thing is to just keep that cup like by your kitchen sink, and every time you walk by, just like, you know, fill it up and stop and drink the glass or half the glass or something like that.
Yeah. I have my coffee in the morning and then I feel like I don't drink any water during the day. And then 5 o'clock, I like chug 64 ounces and then I'm done. Or like, you know, between 5 and like the end of the day, I'm just like, you know, and I'm like, there's only so much I can do.
Yeah. So yeah, that's
so
really
I
hard too.
Get it earlier, but like, I don't know. I think the cutting up the fruit though, and like changing it up or making it colder.
Making it colder. Like, I don't know, there's something about that. And it actually boosts your metabolism more too, because your body has to bring the water up to your body temp, you know, which is around 97 degrees. So if you're drinking, the colder the water, the more it has to work to bring it up to that body temp. But Yeah, so to me, I don't know, that just makes a huge difference having icy cold water and a straw. So maybe just sort of playing around. And then, the other thing is just making a plan, just like you have your times that you're eating and you're scheduling your workouts, is kind of schedule those water, like by 10 o'clock, I'm going to be done with my water bottle. By noon, I'm going to finish another one, something like that. Because the other thing is if you drink it all at once at the end of the day, it might have to go to the like wake up more and go to the bathroom at night.
Yeah.
Maybe not if you're only drinking like 64 ounces, but like maybe, the more you have it kind of front loaded, then you don't need to worry about that later. Yeah. Water's tough. A lot of people don't drink any water throughout the whole day, and they just like are totally used to that. And then, Is that your
Can I add
water
something to
reminders?
that?
I have alarms that go off with my little water gush at 9, 11, 1, 3, and 5 o'clock. Because otherwise I just don't. Like I'll keep my gigantic jug and I won't drink any of it.
I play games too. Like with each client that I train, I drink every time they drink. Every time I tell you to drink water, I will drink water and try to finish this whole thing by the end of it. And then if I do a workout, so the days that I'm training or that I'm doing a workout, I'll drink a lot more just because of that. So if you can find things to like pair it with, maybe you have like a really boring meeting and you're like, I'm going to drink this whole water bottle during this meeting or something. But yeah, kind of like setting up rules or a schedule or something to help you do it can be really helpful too. Okay, that's awesome. Yeah, you're doing great. I'm going to look at your macros. I know we adjusted them, so I want to see how that's going. And so I'll give you specific feedback on that tomorrow when I do check-ins. And I love that you're getting lots of good sleep too.
I usually do. And then this time, and it might be like I started reading the stress book a little bit, and I think finally, after all of this time trying to de-stress, I think that extra activity made me complete a stress cycle.
Yeah, the walking, you mean?
Yeah. And so now there's like a smash room that I might incorporate into my schedule.
Yes, where you like go and
regularly-
you like literally smash things.
Yeah, because I don't have squash anymore. So I need more I need more activity where I hit things.
Yes, I love that. Please go do that and then fill us all in on the rest of the group how that was. That's amazing. Okay, last but not least, you guys moved around on me, but Ariel, we still need a check-in from you.
Hi, everybody. I missed you all last week.
Missed you too.
And so not being here drove me to do the most millennial thing I've done in a while, which was to do the TikTok feta pasta thing, which if you haven't seen it, it's a literal block of cheese surrounded by tomatoes that you put into the oven, let melt, and then you add all this pasta to it. And it's fucking delicious. And I was doing it, and one of I go to a lot of political events normally during like regular times, so people have done like fundraisers online, and so one was like a cooking fundraiser, so I was like doing it with like everybody else, and I tried, this is my like little attempt to add protein, was to do chickpea pasta. So I bought the like Bonanza or whatever it's called, but when Laura's talking about the fat, and I was like, right, all the way there. And then I don't want to be wasteful, and I made a whole pan. And it was like all weekend long, all I ate was just like feta pasta concoction. Again, it was delicious. But here's what I will say is that I still managed to maintain, and I weighed myself today and I was down a pound. And I think part of it is that I was thinking of you, Annie, that I was like, I'm already in a deficit. So I'm like, even if I'm going over, me going over was actually me just hitting my regular, normal, what I'm burning every day. So I don't actually feel that bad, because I was like, you know what, like, fuck it, for 3 days, I just hit what I'm normally burning. And so I was like, I don't give a shit. So that was my weekend, and I felt great about it. I also I've shared that like I haven't been able to work out really because of my concussion, but I finally went on a nice long walk on Sunday because it was so beautiful out. And I managed to make it a whole like 35 minutes before getting sick, which is like progress for me. And my physical therapist actually wants me to do a like workout class. I think I'm actually gonna attempt one of the trainings
Awesome.
this week. That's my goal. And then also, and I say this every check-in, Amy, so you're gonna laugh when you see this, but like every week I'm like, I'm gonna meal plan, and I don't. So like this week, you all please keep me accountable. I want to actually go like grocery shopping this weekend with a list and like be very cognizant. The problem, not the problem, this is like very first world problem. I live a half a block from a Whole Foods. And so in my mind, I'm like, oh, I can just run over to the Whole Foods if I need anything. But that doesn't account for like any real planning. So I need to be better about it. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, planning is, it's like a whole game changer.
Yeah.
And I used to do it, kind of break it down into like 3 days because it kind of does take some time and energy, but like planning the meals, then planning the grocery list, and then going grocery shopping. So if you can get the groceries delivered, that's another game changer, or at least just the basics. But
Yeah.
so worth it. So when are you gonna do this? Let's like nail it down. Like, are you doing this Saturday, Sunday?
I would like to do Saturday because I actually really enjoy meal prepping. And so I would say I'd like to do the groceries Saturday and then do some meal prep on Sunday. And
Okay.
maybe like chop up some things and stuff so that it's easier. Because otherwise I just like open the fridge and I'm like, oh, what is easy because I'm hungry now, you know? I also, going back to like our salad combo, I love to make complex salads, and I've had to learn that I only get to pick one thing.
Yes, like one theme salad per week.
Yeah. So
And that's usually enough, like a thing of, like say you're doing a Greek salad, like a thing of feta cheese is probably enough for 5 or 6 salads or something. Or like the black olives or something like that. That way nothing goes to waste. And then you only have to calculate the macros once, like
right. That's why, yeah. So I think I'm gonna have to pick whatever, like we talked about, whatever the breakfast is gonna be and the lunch is gonna be, and then just kind of go from there. And that works a lot better since I'm living by myself. And again, with the pasta, I didn't want to throw it away, you guys. It was so good. So Ambria, I'm just gonna throw it out. You should do it. It's great.
It looks so good. And I had myself convinced that it wouldn't be, and it's not worth it. And I'm not going to try it.
Wow. I just
have to pretend I didn't hear you.
I would just say if you do it again, or if anybody else does it, like, bruh, get some chicken breast with that pasta and eat the chicken breast first.
Well, of course, my mentality, I bought the like feta from Costco. So there's like 4 blocks. I'm like, I have 3 more blocks left. Like, what am I going to do?
Send it to Minnesota.
I'll
take one for the team.
Yeah, we'll have a Nourish Project potluck.
That'd be fun, actually.
That'd be really fun. Okay, these are amazing check-ins. You guys are all just like crushing the game. I am blown away by how great you guys are all doing. Anything else before we go on to talk about stress and all the good stuff? Okay, cool. Let me share my screen, pull this guy up. My computer is getting really slow. Sorry. Squeezing a little bit. Okay. So before that, I just want to talk about busting through plateaus. Like now we've been going for 4 or 5 weeks. We talked about the fat loss whoosh before, and kind of how, your weight might go up and down. And that's why we track, daily or at least a couple times a week, and don't ever panic if the scale is up a pound or 2 or even 5. It's just like a sort of a long-term up and down process. With generally the trend should be down, but if it's not, then we'll evaluate. But 1 day or 2 days when it's up a little bit, not anything to worry about. In fact, could be a really good sign that you're about to have this fat loss whoosh. If you feel like you are in a plateau, like maybe you were losing weight and you haven't been, and this could be for now or for in the future, or you feel like, okay, that's like I am hitting my macros consistently and I'm still not losing weight. Number one, if you're hitting your macros consistently and not seeing any fat loss, then we might need to adjust them. But if you think you're hitting them right on, there's a bunch of things you can do that don't involve taking away more calories. So number one thing is actually increasing your calories. And I see this all the time with people who have been under eating for years or dieting for years, or even, doing a cut for months, and their body starts to kind of be like, hey, I'm sick of losing weight and the metabolism slowing down. And so actually increasing your calories by doing a diet break or doing a high carb day or 2 back-to-back high carb days can really help break through that plateau. Another one is decreasing your calories. Like I said, if you're hitting everything consistently and you're doing everything else on this list and you're still not seeing the progress, it might just be a matter of decreasing calories and getting that formula spot on. But other things you can do besides adjusting the calories are increasing water, increasing fiber, increasing steps daily, focusing on muscle growth. Muscle, remember, is metabolic tissue. So the more that you have, it's like a investment in your metabolic 401k. So the more muscle you have on your frame, the higher metabolism is going to be, the more fat it's going to burn while your body's at rest. So that's really a great goal. Increasing the thermic effect of food, that we talked about it briefly, but eating more whole, unprocessed, natural food versus processed food, it takes more work for your body to digest it and to metabolize it. So it naturally actually like burns calories and increases your metabolism just by choosing more whole foods, more healthy foods, more unprocessed foods. Decreasing stress. That is what we're going to talk about for the rest of this call tonight. And it's crazy how women's bodies hold on to body fat when we're stressed out. It's because of like the uncertainty and the stress, and the body's evolutionary response is, we don't know what's coming. There might be war. There might not be food. We're going to store this body fat. And our bodies haven't caught up to the fact that it's the 21st century and that our stress is politics and our boss and the kids and the 24-hour news cycle. It still has the same response. So I'm going to talk tonight about how you can decrease stress and manage and decrease it. Okay, lifting heavier. So doing harder workouts and then at the same time swapping out high intensity cardio with lower intensity cardio. That's because of the stress factor. High intensity HIIT workouts, Metcon, stuff like that is very stressful on your body. And so if you're having other high stress stuff, switching it out for lower stress workouts, yoga, walking, steady state cardio, or just lifting can be a good switch. Increased protein, that's another food that has that higher thermic effect. So eating the protein takes your body a lot of work to digest it and make it ready to use as fuel. So eating more is actually going to boost your metabolism. Increasing sleep, that goes hand in hand with dealing with stress. Resting can be a huge one to break through a plateau. A lot of times people are going nonstop, whether it is working 6 or 7 days a week or working out 6 or 7 days a week, and your body just needs a nap. It just needs some rest. So that might be something if you feel like, oh, I'm doing all this stuff, but I'm also going and working out every day. Just give your body a rest day and back off and see what happens there. Improving gut health can also help. Like you might be having a lot of like bloating or inflammation, stuff like that. So working on gut health, eating more fiber, more fruits and vegetables, and maybe taking a probiotic can help. And then also just tracking more accurately. A lot of times we think like, okay, I am nailing these macros. And it turns out like this scoop of peanut butter is actually like 3 tablespoons, not 1 tablespoon, right? And those little things can kind of add up over time, especially if they're more calorie dense food or higher fat foods. So specifically, like talking about some specific numbers that would be great to hit for fiber, 25 is for the goal for women. So aiming to hit 25 grams of protein. If you're way lower, baby step it up, try to hit 20 first. Water half your weight in ounces up to 128 ounces. 128 is a gallon of water. If you're drinking a gallon of water, you are a G, and your body is actually going to adapt to it. I've been drinking, Fred wanted to make it water week this week. So I've been drinking like 5 Nalgene's, like 150 ounces of water. And I'm actually not waking up to go to the bathroom in the night anymore. So your body does adapt to that. So don't be super scared that you're going to have to go to the bathroom all the time. It's going to really help flush out everything, digest proteins, get the toxins out of your system. High quality sleep, decreasing cortisol, and then adequate rest time. If you're taking 1 or 2 days of rest from workouts and from actual work, that is ideal. And then also avoiding deep deficits. And I know no one's doing that because I'm watching your macros very carefully, but a lot of times if people are just doing this on their own, they think like, oh, the lower the calories, the better. And they put their body in a huge caloric deficit. The body thinks it's being starved. And so it stops losing any body fat because it's into starvation mode. So keeping those deficits kind of smaller and being okay with that slow, steady progress can really help too. And then in terms of actual macros, scheduling in high carb days, which we're doing, and diet breaks, actual diet breaks, and reverse dieting, which I'll talk about those things in a few weeks from now, that will really help too. Okay, any questions about that stuff? Busting through plateau? No? Okay, cool. Let's talk about stress. So stress is super important to deal with for a lot of reasons. But, in this group, we're talking about our health, weight loss, fat loss, body transformation. And the female body interprets chronic stress as a threat and holds onto it as body fat. So that's just a fact. That's how our bodies work. So if you are hitting your macros, exercising, drinking water, but you are stressed out all day, every day, you might not see those results that you want to see. And it can be really super frustrating because you're doing the work and you don't understand, and then you're getting more stressed out, right? So that's what we're going to talk about tonight. So this is sort of the science, how it works, and how stress makes fat loss harder. But let me just back it up. So our body, stress comes from all different kinds of, all different sort of inputs, right? Our jobs, our businesses, kids demanding stuff from us, family demands, whether you're caring for parents or caring for kids or caring for pets, everyone needs something from us. If you're in a calorie deficit, that is stressful on your body as well. A lack of sleep can be stressful. And then actually exercise is also stressful on your body. So our body doesn't see all these different stressors as any sort of difference. It just sort of stacks them up. So if you have a stressful job and a stressful family, and then there's politics and COVID and everything, it just like stacks it up on top of each other. It affects our hormones and your body, drains your energy, makes it harder to concentrate. It slows our metabolism by suppressing thyroid production. It can intensify hunger cravings. That has to do with our hunger hormones. So the hunger cravings and your hormones that tell you when you're full can get really out of whack. Can be hard to sleep because, you're thinking about the thing that you're super stressed out about. And then you're more stressed or more tired or not thinking clearly because you're not sleeping and your body's not getting the recovery time it needs. So, let's see, I have a few more. So, it also can lead to heightened anxiety and depression, lack of focus, different changes in your appetite for some people. And this is because of your hormones being affected. Some people have all kind of sugar and carb cravings. Some people completely lose their appetite. It can also cause adrenal fatigue. The adrenal glands are the ones that produce cortisol, which your body produces to have like a sort of an adrenaline rush when you're dealing with stress and you need to like handle something. But if that's always happening, can go into adrenal fatigue, which is kind of a new thing people are talking about now. I never even heard it like 5 years ago. And now Everyone thinks they have adrenal fatigue. It's because of chronic stress. And it also suppresses the immune system, which obviously COVID, this is not when we want to have a suppressed immune system. Okay, so there is a good stress and bad stress. We do need some stress, to be engaged, to be alert. I'm sure everybody can think of a time when maybe you had like homework due or a project due, or you found out like a guest was coming over to your house and all of a sudden you're under the gun to finish a project and you have this like superhuman power and focus and you like get the house clean or you get the project done. That's because of the stress and the pressure. Exercise itself is a stressor on the body. It stresses the body, but it's usually in a good way if you're not that stressed out otherwise. So I love this little graph that kind of shows there's like good stress. We're kind of right here in this zone, like the healthy, happy zone where you have kind of pressure. You're not like, oh, my life is boring and I have nothing pressing, but you're kind of just like, okay, I have some goals, I have some urgency. But it can kind of get past this peak where you're feeling exhausted, but you're like, okay, I'm dealing with it. If you don't deal with it, you're just going to start getting sick. It gets to the point of why do I always feel sick? And then a breakdown. And that's what, if anyone started, I know some of you have started reading Burnout, that's what this book is talking about, is the stress cycle and the female body. And we get to the point where you feel like you can't handle anything. You only have the energy to like lie on the couch and watch Netflix, not make any big decisions, not be able to think clearly. You're getting sick. You don't have any energy. And we don't want any of you to feel like that, right? We want to be in this happy, healthy zone of like some pressure in your life, but generally feeling good and not exhausted all the time. Okay. Does anyone, I don't know, I just want to like open it up. Does anyone have any questions or any like thoughts you want to share about this, or maybe just how you're feeling stress-wise?
I'll just say something really quick because Laura mentioned willpower earlier, and something that I didn't know really, and my therapist said to me once, and it's really stuck with me, is that willpower isn't a well that you can constantly keep going back to. You have a finite amount of willpower every single day. And so that's why it's almost easier to make those decisions in the morning. And as the day drains on, so does your willpower. So like, I just want to tell you, like, it's totally normal, because I felt like I was losing my mind, because I was like, oh my God, I like don't even think about that stuff anymore, and I just give up, and I'm like, whatever. And it's because you literally have a finite amount every day, and all the little decisions that you make every single day start pulling from that. So
yes. And that's also, why I talk all the time about systems and like sort of automating the choices, because then you're, instead of drawing from that finite amount of willpower to choose good foods or choose to move your body, it's not drawing from that. So you can have that willpower reserve to make other choices that you need to make, or other decisions. But yeah, that's a great point. Thanks for sharing that, Ariel.
That is such a like mind-blowing thought. Thank you. And I know that most of you are probably reading that Burnout book that Annie suggested. I just started reading The Lazy Genius. Have any of you heard of her before? It's this woman, she has a podcast. It's been around forever. And it's so smart. Like, everything makes sense. Like, chapter 1 is decide once on like decisions that just really don't matter. Like, every Monday you wear black pants and a sweater, like, done. You don't have to stand in your closet and go, what the hell am I going to wear? It's Monday morning. I don't want to go to work. Like, you decide once. And that was kind of like your meal planning thing, Annie, how like every Tuesday we have tacos. Every Monday we have meatless Monday. But that would be a really good book if you're like, it's been good. I like it.
Okay, that's good. Maybe we'll do that next month.
Probably a podcast. Like, if you're struggling with something, there's probably an episode. So look it up. The
Is
lazy
the
genius.
podcast also The Lazy Genius?
Yep.
Cool. Yeah, I really like that deciding. There's a lot of power in her book, You're a Badass. Jen Sincero talks a lot about practicing deciding quickly, because it can decision fatigue is real, and it kind of like drains your energy and draws from your willpower. I think that was where I first read about Steve Jobs had his like black turtleneck uniform that he wore to work every day. And I was like, oh, because he had to make big important decisions, not look at his closet on Monday morning and figure out what to wear. And so that's a really good advice, that just like decide quickly, decide once, practice making like easy decisions. Like if you're at a restaurant, see how fast you can decide. Like, have you ever been with people who are like, oh my God, I can't decide? Like, just decide and go for it, and it will like help make bigger decisions easier, and also free up brain power for when you need those creative thinking and that focus. I love that. Thanks for that suggestion, Laura. I'm going to look into that. Okay, so let's just wrap up. We're doing good on time. I love it. We're just going to talk about what to do about stress. So if you're reading the Burnout book, you're maybe Michelle was talking about of completing the stress cycle. And that's kind of what this is. But the stress cycle, they talk about like in our caveman days, the stressors were very physical. It was like a tiger attack or hunting or a bear attack or something like that. And so you would have a physical release, whether you're like running from the attacker or like hunting the animal and chasing it or something. So that physical release. And then you'd come home to your tribe or your village or your group, and everybody would celebrate and they'd hug you because you're still alive or because you're the conquering hero. And so that like cuddling or snuggling or love. So what it does is the physical release gets those hormones, kind of flushes those hormones out of our body, the cortisol, the adrenaline, those stuff. And you can do that, by exercising every day, by even if you don't have time to exercise, like going to a smash room or just like putting on a playlist of like your favorite music, whether it's like dance music or heavy metal, and just like having a dance party or punching a pillow. I used to have clients who were having a bad day do a slam ball until they were like feeling better, just something to get that like physical release. And then combine that with some cuddling time. And I know this sounds really woo-woo, but I've had clients tell me they intentionally did this and they felt night and day different. So whether it's your partner, your kids, your spouses, or your dogs, your cats, your pets, spend some time like loving another living creature and getting loved up, and it tells your body you're safe now. It tells your body everything's okay, you're safe now, you can relax. And because we're facing the chronic stressors every day of the news and all the alerts on our phone and job demands and this and this and this and this, we need to do that, completing that stress cycle every single day to help deal with it. And then also see how you can kind of decrease that and manage it. So whether it's sleeping more, turning off TV, turning off Netflix, turning off the news, like just getting the bare minimum news that you need to be an informed human, and then turning it off. That can really help, controlling your ambiance, whether it's candles, music, essential oils, just sort of making a calming, soothing oasis out of your space. And then the last thing is, about mindset, but really saying no to things that don't bring you joy and having really healthy, strong boundaries and enforcing them. And that's the thing, as women, they kind of go into this in the book Burnout too, is where we feel like we have to say yes to everything. Women who are working professional careers tend to do like the note taking for the meetings and the office housework and the volunteering. And we are expected to do it all with a smile on our face and to never lose our cool and be graceful and not get flustered. And at the same time, do all the work that the men are doing. And it is okay to say no. Like, say no. Sunday's your day off. If the weekend's your day off, if you shut your phone off at 8:00 at night, do it and don't apologize for it, because a burned out, amazing woman like any of you is not serving anyone. Okay, you guys, that's all I have for tonight. Any last thoughts, any questions, any big ideas? No? Okay. Did everybody get a copy of the book? Everyone reading it? Okay.
Kevin, I think I'm going to do an audio this weekend.
Okay, cool. Awesome. Wait, Laura, are you unmuting yourself?
I can.
Okay.
That's super smart. That's what I'm gonna do. I've been like, I want to buy another book. I'll just listen to it.
I just like, I'm still struggling with like reading for long periods of time. And so I'm like, what is the solution for this? And so I found a lot of workarounds post-concussion.
Awesome.
Yeah. Well, thank you, everybody.
Okay, thank you guys. It's a great call. Have an
Thanks,
amazing night.
everyone. Good night.
By the way, if you got for those of you who sent me your check-ins, I'll send you personalized feedback tomorrow. If you didn't, it's not too late. Fill out your check-in sheet and just shoot me a message if you still need to do it, and I'll get you feedback soon. Okay.
Thanks,
Bye,
Annie.
guys. Have a great
Bye.
night.
Bye.
Bye.